He's always ready.
Is this on? That's working. Yeah. I'm going to belt out a tune real quick. I can't think of anything that rhymes, or I would.
Yes, we do. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready to do this?
Oh, I'm not done? Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this?
You've been dying for that. I know you have
I've
been.
been waiting for this for weeks to do this. We are now joined by Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 Home Depot Let's Do This Toyota. You like that, don't you? You still like that? Does it sound better?
I just like you try to figure out how to say it.
I've been practicing. Is it better?
Much better than the first time, yeah. The first time was more entertaining, though.
Wow. Really?
Well, it was because it took you like 6 times to... Forget it. Carry on.
Okay. Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 Home Depot Let's Do This Toyota. First in points, 7 wins so far this season. Talk a little bit about being at Talladega. You're here?
Yeah. Yeah, so Talladega, man, I don't know. It's kind of
You're
just...
excited to be here?
Sure.
First in points?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the chase has been pretty good up to this point, so I'm glad to be leading. Glad we had a good run last week. Got a pretty good finish out of it, and you know, Talladega as a driver, we'll draft a little bit today, kind of look at the weather, see if we need to put up a lap time or what we need to do. So that kind of makes practice interesting. If there is a threat of rain with everybody trying to lay back and get fast times and do all that, it's kind of silly, kind of fun to watch. And really, it's kind of a slow weekend, you know, until Sunday. So usually just run a couple times in the draft, make sure you don't have any problems today, qualify tomorrow, and get ready to race. So as a driver, it's a pretty low stress weekend until the race starts on Sunday.
Okay, we'll take questions now for Matt. We'll start with Claire, then go to Alan, Ed, and Jeff.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Talking about racing Talladega, you seem to have been, in all your comments leading up to it, relatively calm about the whole thing. You do what you can do, but others sort of sound wigged out. Have you learned that over the years?
Well, I don't know what good it's going to do me to be freaked out about it, you know, right now. So, you know, I think they've been working really hard on this car, and I know TRD's been working on engines, so hopefully we got some speed when we get out there and draft a little bit today. If we don't, there's not really a lot I can do about it. If we do, there's not really a lot I had to do with it. So really just, you know, make sure there's no problems today, try to learn a little bit if you can in the draft, and then, like I say, qualify tomorrow and then get ready for Sunday. So just like every week, I think you go out and try to do the best job you can do at, you know, controlling the things that you can control and not worry about the things that you can't.
Not so much just for you, but for the entire field. Is this race look different than the race earlier in the year because it's in the chase at Talladega and there is so much on the line?
I don't anticipate it really looking a lot different. I mean, I think, you know, there was a big wreck where somebody ran into somebody else and caused a big wreck. I mean, you might not have that happen. I think when things like that happen, you learn from them. But, you know, typically there's always a good chance of having a couple wrecks, and you hope to be out of that. I mean, the race might look slightly different. I just don't really know. You never know what agendas anybody's going to have when these races start. Sometimes people just play it by ear. If it feels like everything's fairly calm, they'll race. Other times, if people are stuck in the middle or maybe not even in the middle, a couple rows back, they'd rather just ride around and wait till the end. So you never know what's really going to happen. I've never really had much success making too much of a plan. Seems like you just kind of try to do it. It comes natural. If seems like you have the speed and you can lead and be out front, do that. If not, and you're not comfortable, maybe you change your plan then. But every time I've really sat down and tried to make a huge plan going into this race, it's never really worked out very well for me.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the middle from Alan, then come over to Ed.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. These races can have you racing with drivers that you may not see from week to week, or you may not be in contention with week to week. Do you think about that before or during a race?
No, I mean, you know, the interesting thing about races here especially is, you know, pretty much any of the 43 cars under the right circumstances could have a shot to win it, you know, and you really don't know what's going to happen, you know, and usually, you know, when you go race at Texas, you probably can't say that, you know, so So anyway, you just want to, I think, try to figure out how to be one of those cars, and certainly I think your guard is up maybe a little bit more than normal. You pay attention to every car out there. Where like last week, there's probably a few guys that weren't gonna race for the win. The group's maybe a little bit smaller. So for sure, when you come here, it opens it up and gives everybody a shot.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Ed. Go ahead.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Keep it on hammering at you about the same subject. As cool and what will be as you seem going into this thing, and as I guess you are. Can you really totally block out of your mind this time that you are everybody talks about Talladega scrambling the standings and everything. Can you completely block out that you are the guy with the most at risk this time going into this crapshoot?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, certainly I realized today that we're, the point later and, pretty close to being tied with a 48. And, if you have a bad week, any week, that's going to hurt. And your chances of having a bad race here are probably a little bit higher, than other tracks because you can get caught up and stuff. But, I don't think you want to, give up any race. I don't think you want to have a bad finish anywhere. I don't really want to be careful and finish 15th anywhere, So I don't know. You just never know what's going to happen. You could hang around the back all day, and the thing about that is you got to eventually go to the front. Last year the wreck happened coming to the checkered. You couldn't still be really hanging in the back there, because if you'd have made it through turn 4, you would have finished in the back anyway, even without wrecking. So I don't know. It's a hard balance. I still feel like all the fans pay a lot of money and watch on TV to see a race, and I've always just liked to go race. Sometimes that plan can change if your car's not fast or you feel uncomfortable where you're at and there's cars all over, all that kind of stuff. But I think, I've been pretty spoiled the last few plate races, and we led a lot of laps here in the spring, and that's probably, in my opinion, the safest place.
So there's no thought that you might play it by ear about to see what circumstances are. There's no thought that you'll leave open the option of sitting at the back for a while.
Well, no. I mean, I think things can always change. I mean, for whatever reason, Daytona in July, for some reason, I was stuck in the middle and we didn't have a lot of speed, and I could see things around me were not looking great, and I actually just decided that I was going to do something different and try to find a different lane or back up a little bit and try a different, try to get in a different lane to get going or whatever. And a wreck happened that exact corner, and I was in it. So I mean, you don't know what's happened. I think you try to do what feels right at the time and hope it all works out.
Okay, we'll go Jeff, David, Al, and Bob. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Matt. Jeff Hood of RacingToday.com. Historically, you've never been a big fan of Martinsville Speedway, but the way you and Ratcliffe and the 20 team have gelled, are you looking forward to going there next week?
I am. We had a really good run going in the spring. We got off a little bit in the middle of the race, and then we pitted at the end and lost some spots. But I thought we were going to finish 6th or 7th if we went to pitted, and I think we led more laps in the spring than I led my whole career there up to that point. Actually, I think we led over 100 laps or something. So I thought we had a good car there. Denny's always really good there. Kyle's really good there. I feel like our short track stuff is good, even though it didn't really show it at Richmond. I'm looking forward to going to Martinsville and looking forward to the challenge. It's interesting, you look at tracks that you feel like are some of your worst, and then you look at some you feel like some are your best. And if I just look through the last 5 weeks, I think we've had our best finishes at the two tracks I thought would have been our worst. And our worst finish so far at the track that I thought would have been our best. So I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. It's been a fun year because they've made me run a lot better at tracks where we didn't usually run good at. So hopefully Martinsville will be one of those.
Okay, we'll take our next question. Go ahead, David.
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. You expressed your viewpoint in this place pretty well last week when you said it's not you don't get overwrought about stuff you can't control. You look forward to it as an opportunity. Have you always seen it like that, or was there an instance that led you to view it in that way?
No, I didn't always look at it like that. I always, probably there's there's a lot of times you'd come here and you're like, man, when you do wreck, I hope nobody gets hurt. You can get home after race every time. You're like, man, I hope we don't wreck. I went through a lot of that, but just last year and the first race here this year, my speedway cars were just so fast, so that probably gives you a little different outlook. We've been able to lead a lot of laps. I was fortunate enough to win last fall. And before last year, I haven't really had that opportunity before. Feel like, we're fast enough where I'd do the right moves or do the right things or whatever. So So that probably changes your outlook a little bit. I think if you go through a few plate races and you have trouble and get caught up in all the wrecks and all that, certainly I'm sure your view, changes and you don't look at it quite the same.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the back from Al, then come back up front to Bob.
Yeah, Matt, kind of along the same line. This is Al Muskie from the Anniston Star here in town. You've had good success here again the last couple of times you've been. I think 3 top 10s the last 3 you've been here. What's been the difference these last 3 times compared to maybe the previous 10 when I don't think you finished any higher than maybe 12th or 15th?
I think mainly just having faster cars. The tandem stuff we ran okay, but it wasn't really my favorite style of racing, and probably didn't have the best success. And I felt like last year when they changed the rules package, that little spoiler and kind of separated the pack again and got rid of the tandem, and you had to go back to more of a quote-unquote conventional style drafting. I felt like not only did it speed our cars up, but I felt like I was more comfortable and probably, made less bad moves than I made before, that type of thing. So, I think that's part of it, and just our cars with that other package seem to have had some speed.
And then let me ask this, a combined deal, so I don't have to ask 2 questions in a row. Is this last 3 times that you run here and run so well, including the win, is it at all similar to the run you had here like in 5 and 6 when you had 3 straight top 10s as well? And secondly to that, what was your feeling about coming here before the spring of last year when you went 3-1-8 as opposed to the difference of what it is coming here now? It's like, I just don't like coming here, and now I'm doing well. I really love it.
I can't remember 05 and 6 or 6 and 7, whatever you're talking about, and I can't hardly remember. I can't hardly remember the spring race. So, I think when you go somewhere and things have been going well, it's easy to feel good about going there and have a good attitude, and vice versa. When you go somewhere and you just keep having trouble and keep getting caught in wrecks or what have you, it's easy to come with a bad attitude. So, I think you just got to come with an open mind, hope your car's fast, hopefully you can stay up front and stay out of trouble. And if it's not, hope circumstances work out and you can get it in the right place and get with the right cars to get up there and get a finish.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob.
Bob Packer, Sporting News. Considering your points position, do you not expect help from a guy like Jimmy or Kyle or Gordon? And if they're in front of you, do you push them, or do you have to pretty much work with somebody that you're not competing for the championship with?
Well, that's a good question. You never know for sure what the cars around you are or the drivers around you are thinking, or what moves they're going to make, what they're going to do. So, it's at times it can be tough having teammates at tracks like this. So, for instance, Kyle and I talked after Daytona, and right before I got in that wreck, we got together, and for whatever reason, our cars weren't very fast together, and man, I stuck it out behind them for 20-some laps and weren't going anywhere, and finally we got in a wreck, and I should have bailed a long time ago. So I always try to go through the race and try to find a car that my car seems to be really fast with, and usually when you find that, the other person realizes that too, and more often than not, they'll stick with you, teammate or not, same manufacturer or not. You want to do what's going to be best for, your respective cars, get the best finishes you can. So, for instance, in the spring race, the 48 and my car together were really, really fast, and I think we ran nose to tail for 3/4 of the race. Now, will that happen this time because circumstances are so much different? I don't really know. I don't know if that changes or not. So, from my standpoint, I want to finish as high as I can finish. So, if I find a car that my car is real fast with, I'll try my best to work with that person to try to get us the best finish we can.
Final questions for Matt. All right, Matt, thank you very much for your time today. Good luck this weekend. And the Let's Do This Toyota.
Okay. Come to Talladega Super Speedway and you think about Dale Earnhardt Jr. At least I know I do.
Oh,
And,
all right.
being honest, Dale. Dale's driving the number 88 Mountain Dew Xbox One Chevrolet this weekend for Hendrick Motorsports, and that's a cool paint scheme you got out there. Maybe talk about that a little bit, Dale, and then talk about coming to a place you've won 5 times in the Sprint Cup Series, and certainly no kidding aside, when you do come here, this is gotta be a special place for you.
Yeah, that's true. The car looks great. Really excited to be paired up with Xbox One. Got to thank Diet Mountain Dew for being innovative on the marketing side. I'm a big fan of Xbox. Got several actually. Strolling around in the house and in the bus, and so I'm it's a good fit, and hopefully with this promotion that Diet Mountain Dew has, they're going to auction off a lot of these Xbox Ones right here, like this one designed here on the table. I think that'll be pretty successful, obviously, regardless of our participation, because Xbox is such a huge brand, and with the release of the new console, pandemonium is going to set in for a little while. But I know I'll be on the list somewhere trying to get one. But yeah, this racetrack's really a special racetrack just in general to the sport. I think that the history of this place, just how it was conceived, and the unique circumstances of that first race, and how the drivers many felt it was unsafe or what have you, and how the track eventually turned into one of the most impressive and unique concerning speed, and how the style of racing that you have here is so unique. It's just amazing, what this place has been able to deliver year after year, and I do enjoy coming here. And I remember this was one of my favorites as a kid when I was young. Out of all the tracks that I had the chance to go to, this was definitely one of my favorites to come to. Milling around in the garage during the race, and just how big the place was, and the cars looked different because of the super speedway bodies, and it was just a really fun experience for me. And this was actually the first racetrack that I drove on, aside from Myrtle Beach. I was racing at Myrtle Beach, and I wasn't even racing Myrtle Beach. I was racing street stocks at Concord, and they were testing the I think they were testing the V8. They were going from V6s to V8s in the Nationwide Series, and they were testing. Dad was down here driving it, and Dave Marcus was out here driving Dad's car, and Dad called me at the dealership. I was changing oil, and told me to get my helmet and my suit and be at the airport the next morning, not ask any questions or tell anybody where I was going. And I didn't know where. I knew I was going to Talladega, but I didn't know why. I assumed I was going to drive a race car somewhere. But we got here, and he told me to get my stuff on and get in the car and go out and run and hold it wide open, that it was going to stick. But and I remember going down the back straightaway in that car wondering if it was really going to stick when I got in that corner, because it just didn't seem like it was possible. But this is a real special place. My dad won a lot of races here, and I've had the fortune of being able to get to victory lane several times, and I think this place will just continue to deliver year after year, long after I'm gone, and it's just such an impressive track, and I really enjoy being here.
Thank you, Dale. We'll take questions now. We'll start with Holly. We'll go to Jeff Hood, and then Jeff Gluck, and then David and Alan. Go ahead, Holly Kane.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. All joking aside, but Kerry said, we have to think of you when you come here. You are the sport's most popular driver, but do you get the extra love that you get here at Talladega, and do you still get a kick out of that? Because, it really is unlike anywhere else. And
yeah, I think that we were winning so many races there in a short period of time, from 01 to 04, and and you know, when we weren't winning, we were running second or third, and always in the middle of the race for the lead. And I think maybe our personality is a good match for this area. I have had a lot of friends down in this area and spent a lot of time down here hunting, and for whatever reason, it's just been a real comfortable area for me to be in. You know, you travel all over the country racing in all the different parts of the country, and some places you feel almost like you're at home, and this is one of them. So, I think that Dad really started all that with the success he had here, and we came in. I came in, and our DEI team came in and just kind of inherited already a pretty loyal fan base. This sport's got the most loyal fans as it is already, and so we sort of adopted a lot of people, and we were able to go out and win, and that endeared them for some time now. And yeah, I think it makes it fun to come here knowing you got a lot of people excited to see you run. And as soon as the race starts, I mean, when you're standing on the line out there before you even get in the car, the first thing you're thinking about is how fast you can get to the lead, because you know a lot of people want to see you leading the race, and they come here to cheer that specific moment and hopefully see you go to victory lane, and you just want to produce as soon as you can.
Let's go to Jeff Hood and then Jeff Gluck, please.
Hey, Dale, Jeff Hood of RacingToday.com. My question is very similar to Holly's. And can you talk about when you're going around here and when you take the lead, can you actually hear the fans? Because they get pretty loud here when you take the lead. And does that give you adrenaline? Does it give you a rush when you know they're up there cheering for you? Or is it just where you have to block it out and just know you have a task at hand? No,
you don't block it out. I think you enjoy that, just as much. Because that's, if you got one fan or you got thousands of fans, you know that when you put the car on the, in first place, that they're happy. And I think you enjoy that as much as the fan enjoys it. You're happy to be in first, obviously, but when you see the reaction that other people get from it, yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling. It's a really good feeling. Sometimes you swear you can hear them, but most times you can't. But you can definitely see it. You can definitely see after lap after lap after lap after lap of going down by that grandstand and seeing them sitting down. When you come by and they're standing up, it's obvious. And they're, you see the arms in the air and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, let's go to Jeff Gluck, David, and Alan.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I'm just wondering, I know you play a lot of Madden, but what are some of your other games that you're playing right now on Xbox, and what's your favorite Xbox game ever?
Ever? Man, Madden's pretty good. Madden probably be up in the top of the list. I like college football. We play a lot of Grand Theft Auto and Tiger Woods golf. Played a lot of that. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I was on the Xbox this morning before we got on the plane, just trying to do some things in my Madden league. But always trying to improve the team.
There you go.
I'm the Redskins. I wouldn't play if I couldn't be the Redskins. That sounds bad, but yeah. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah. Let's go with David Caravello, Alan, and then Claire B.
David Caravello, NASCAR.com. Matt was just in here talking about how you have to embrace this place as an opportunity and not get caught up in all the stuff that could happen. Knowing him and knowing this joint, I mean, is that kind of mindset essential to doing well here?
I think so. As much as I feel like you're, as much as I feel like a lot of things are out of your control, and so you start the race thinking, I got no control over what's going to happen. I'm just going to do this, or I'm just going to do that. I'm either going to lay back, or you make up your mind probably, hours before the race. I'm going to run hard every lap, or I'm going to take it easy. This is what I'm going to do. And you still, even after you got this plan that you've talked about and thought about, and maybe you spent time with your crew chief and your team, and maybe you spent a week on it. Who knows? You still feel as helpless as a guy with no plan at all. You know, but it's just because it's so many things are out of your hand. But I think you can psych yourself out, and you can definitely anticipate negative results and negative things happening so much that you almost guarantee that as your fate. You know, I think if you think positively, man, this is going to work, I'm going to make the right choices when things aren't quite working right, I'm going to keep striving and keep pushing, and I'm going to make this a good result, I'm going to get something out of this today. Typically it works out. Typically that attitude is going to prevail over, man, this ain't going to work, every time I come here, I'm going to wreck. Every time I come here, I'm going to have trouble. I can't figure it out. But why even try? You know, I mean, that attitude never works. But not that I think any, drivers are that extreme about it. But you definitely, when you have so little in control, like when you're driving at other racetracks, man, you're driving the car. You're in control of, getting the car better, and you're in control of a lot more. Where here, you're at the mercy of the draft and what line you're in. A move you made, a choice to change lines a couple laps ago might have you just going backwards with no option to get out. You're trapped in that box, trapped by the cars around you to sort of ride that decision out for a few more laps. That's kind of frustrating. But you have to stay positive. I think to not end up in that crash or not end up having a terrible result because you make all these terrible choices. You have to stay positive and keep pushing and get really try to stay positive. I mean, it's just something you'll make 5 bad decisions, but that one right decision you make might be the one that gets you where David Reagan ended up, right? So I mean, just like that, he wins the race. So you just got to keep plugging away, and you're gonna make a lot of bad decisions. You just got to get ready for that.
Kind of up against the time here. We got 3 more. Sorry, can't get to everybody, but Claire B, George Diaz, Paul Newberry.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Over the twists and turns of the car and whatnot, and the way people have raced, have you got better? Have you gotten better and then worse and then better and then worse, or up and down with it all? Where are you at now in the back and forth of it all?
Well, we haven't. I haven't. As far as how Talladega's went, yeah, definitely. Feel like I'm waiting on something good to happen. I don't think that. I've made too many bad decisions, I suppose. I really don't look back over each race and go, man, this is exactly where I went wrong, or so I don't take account or take a record of everything, but I feel like we haven't got the job done, and this is a place where I feel like I should know what I'm doing and shouldn't be able to go out there and get a great result every time. And so every time you show up, you're thinking that this might be the weekend that you get it kind of turned around and put things back in the right direction. But hasn't been going great here. As great as I want it to go here lately. We've torn up a lot of cars and been frustrated most times when we leave here, but I still come back as confident and excited about the opportunities as ever, and that's the way we feel this weekend. The package changes a lot, and you got to adapt. And maybe I haven't adapted as well to some of the packages, or maybe, I'm, just not making the right decisions. You got to make all the right decisions in the draft to put yourself in a position to win, and I haven't been doing that to win these races here, but. My confidence and my determination has not changed a bit. But yeah, I think you got to adapt, and I don't think I've adapted as well as I've needed to the way this package needs to be ran. And but I'm gonna stay open-minded to that and try to do a good job this weekend of putting the car where it needs to be and making better decisions that put me in position to have a shot at it. I just want to have a shot at it. We haven't really even done that. Every time we've had these late restarts, we've been in the back or outside the top 10 or just things haven't gone the way we need them to go at the end of these races to have a shot and be up close to the front to make a move at the last few laps, and that's the goal this weekend.
Let's go over here to George. Over your right there, Dale.
Over here, Dale. George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel. You more than anybody else can relate to the whole popularity thing with Danica. Does NASCAR need her to be successful, eventually at some point, in terms of her results?
I think that she needs it more than NASCAR needs it. I think that for her, she wants it. She wants to be successful and strives to be successful, and that's on her. That comes down to whether she can get it done or not, and whether time will tell. But I don't think that the sport wins or loses either way. Obviously, if she's successful, it's a plus. But no matter what happens to any of us, the sport goes on, and the health of the sport is the needle doesn't move a whole lot, depending on individuals. It's really a sport of so many people and so many different drivers and so many different personalities. You move one out and put another one in. I don't think the needle moves a whole lot, no matter who we are, me or anybody.
Go ahead, Paul. Far right there, Dale.
One more right here, Dale. And the last one, ask you about another driver as well. Jeff Gordon this year, he was commenting earlier, people early in the year asking, kind of giving up on him, talking about when's he retiring, how many more years does he have left. What have you seen in him that's allowed him to sort of turn it around this year? You've been around the sport a while. Is he driving? Is he kind of got that passion and style back that maybe he had a few years ago, more in his so-called prime?
I think Jeff would tell you that he's not as been as successful this year as he'd hoped. He is as determined as I've ever seen him. I've only spent a few years actually as a teammate, but I've known him for a long time, and his determination and how he goes through the process of working working a race weekend, being tenacious and trying to figure the car out and working with his crew and utilizing practice. He puts in the effort, and the desire is definitely as strong as it's always been, as far as I can tell. And I think that, he's just a real talent, and they're just trying to find the right combination of things to sort of get their team where it's successful every week. I think that they show the potential of that off and on, and you see them win a race here and there and have struggles from time to time. They're just trying to find that consistency. But yeah, he definitely, he's got the confidence that he's the best guy out there and wants to go out there and prove that every week. And I see that in him, in his demeanor and his body language every week. So, I like having him as a teammate because of that, because of his determination.
Dale, thank you for coming in, and good luck this weekend, okay?
All right.
Thank you. See you, buddy.